for me, the role of a board is an oversight. It is to make sure that the functions of what they're set up for and the executive that they manage is being done. And it's the same role for county councillors around the country too as well. They are board of directors. The one thing I would like to see, Minister, is that you actually put down in legislation who you want as members. You mentioned patient advocates. Put it down in writing, so that maybe your thought, but the next minister might decide that, okay, we don't need that. So, because we're going through the judicial appointments bill, and actually the minister has virtually no say practically in who he can appoint, because it's written down in legislation and it's defined in that too as well. I think also key too as well, you might have a role in the subcommittees, because they are as equally as important. The audit committee is hugely important, because it has to make sure that where the money has been allocated, almost over 17 billion this year, is being spent for what it should be done, and it should be done for patients. I just want to ask about the regional boards, Minister. It's an important role too as well, because and what function they will have and how will they feed into the main board, and maybe a board member on that be on the regional board, so there is a direct line of communication from board to board rather than from executive passing on what is hearsay said at a board meeting. I think that's important at the regional meetings. Accountability, in my opinion, is hugely important. I know they're accountable to you, but they should actually come before the Health Committee, not with the Chief Executive, who sometimes prods and leads board members, but as the board themselves, the chairman and a couple of members of the board, and if we can do something on that. I'm going to get a little bit parochial now, Minister, and I know you got a lot of money yesterday, but I would love to see some of it go to home care packages in my own area. There is a lot of people in hospitals today who would be quickly moved on back to their home if a home care package was allocated. There is up to 700 people in my own CH07 waiting for packages. If we could do something on that, and I would love to see that being spent there, whereas going to the patient, rather than hiring on some more staff, as Senator Burke has indicated, taking on 12,000 staff, whose the percentage of administrators might stun us if that figure was released. But in all, I think this is a very good, sound and robust piece of legislation. A couple of those points I made, if you could add them in, would even strengthen it up further. But thanks very much, and I wish you the best of luck.
Senator Rowler made a number of suggestions in terms of how we can improve the legislation. I particularly like your idea about how do we make sure that there's always patient advocates. Can we make that stronger? Should we make that appear in legislation? I'll reflect on that between now and committee stage, and a number of your other suggestions in relation to how the board will interact with the Health Committee, with the regional board structures, and indeed its subcommittees. On the issue of home care packages, I expect we'll be in a position to increase the number of home care packages again in 2019, and hopefully through the winter period. And I'm aware of the issue you've brought to my attention in terms of the demand well exceeding supply in CH07. I'm also aware that there's a national issue in relation to this, and I hope we can make some progress as a result of the extra funding